Well, I thought it'd be good to make a follow-up gear edit on last year's 2024 Great Divide setup. Just let you know what I learned from riding along, what worked, what didn't work, what broke. With these edits, I'm not saying run out and buy more gear, that's the answer. Rather just letting you know what I've learned, what I found to be effective, work well, makes your trip be a little smoother possibly, and hopefully allow you to make a more informed decision when you go about buying gear for your trip. I thought this would be a good spot to shoot because 7.3 miles away is the Great Divide route in between Sealy and Ovando. And right over there is Lodgepole Creek Waterfall. Just a beautiful 95-foot waterfall, falls different tiers. And I thought it'd be neat to show some different shots of that just because this is a side adventure that is probably a little too long for most people doing the Great Divide, being how long it is already. But with that, let's get into the gear. In the comments, I had several people ask me what my whole bike setup weighs. I am not really interested in knowing how much the whole thing weighs, but just to give you an idea, this has my power banks and some camera batteries, and this little bag alone is 3.3 pounds. So I'm not concerned about weight. I like having a bunch of battery power, knowing I'm not gonna run out. So. These Smith Wildcat sunglasses I used on the first half of the trip. Jasper down to Breckenridge. They go from clear to the tint. And once I got farther south, I just noticed that I was squinting quite a bit in the afternoons. So in Breckenridge, decided to go with a darker lens. These are the Smith Barra. They have just a touch of side protection too, but noticed it right away in the late afternoons when it's really bright out. I needed just a little darker lens and mailed these home in Breckenridge right when I got these. That works really well. Right along those same lines, this hat I found to just work excellently well. Mountain Hardware mesh 5-panel. That 5-panel design works really well under a helmet. Bigger brim than you get with a cycling helmet. Protect that nose a little bit. Certainly just a little more casual too, walking around town. This Revelate Designs Mag Tank 2000s. I just got a replacement of the one I had. Awesome bag, goes right up front there. Lots of space. My old one was very dirty. I washed it out really well and it was still super dirty. What they did with this one, it's awesome. Now they put a liner in it. You take out the liner, wash that, back in business. Revelate Design, they're innovators over there, just crushing it. This is the sun shirt I switched to in Sealy Lake. So Sealy Lake down, this was the main shirt I was wearing. I highly recommend this Patagonia long sleeve sun stretch shirt. And one of the main things I loved about it, these pockets, mesh pockets, you can use them if you need to, but other than that, you open those up when you're going down the road for some ventilation. That air is just like goes right into your armpits. Feels great. Shock pump. Both years I did the Great Divide, I took this and did not use it once the entire way, either time. So I just wanted to mention this is one thing I'm gonna leave out of the bag, and if I need a shock pump, I'll just get it in at one of the bike shops along the way that I'm stopping for maintenance anyway. I was glad throughout the last half of the trip, I stopped using hand sanitizer and just went to actual soap. Hand sanitizer, you're really just spreading that bacteria around. Actual soap really takes off that grease, where bike riders, we all get that chain grease on us at some point. Just put a water bottle between your knees, tilt that down, get your hands wet, soap up, then do it again to rinse off. And just feels awesome to be much better level of hygiene with the actual soap rather than the hand sanitizer. Soap, you just can't do it anywhere in the water. You don't want to just go to a creek and use this, or a river. You want to do it with your water bottle at above the high water line. Oh, so one new piece of gear that I'll be trying out this year, the FlexTail Zero Pump, little electric inflator for your sleeping pad. I don't know about you, but I am horrible when it comes to airing up my pad at the end of the day. And this guy will just allow that to be a nice, quick, easy process. Be able to get a good night's sleep and a full recharge. So I'm excited to try this out. Mosquito head net here. Just wanted to say that the best insect repellent I found was to cover up. When you're using insect repellent along with sunscreen and then dirt from riding around with our bikes, you can just get a really grimy layer really fast. So covering up when you see those mosquitoes, long socks, long sleeve shirt, mosquito head net if you need it around camp, that kind of thing. Also can just leave the afterbite at home if you can have the willpower to not scratch those mosquito bites, which I have also found is the best thing. Rather than know you're going to use the afterbite, just really make a real conscious effort to not scratch mosquito bites. I know it's hard when you get them around your ankles and that, they're miserable. Gore-Tex Overshoes. I didn't actually have these yet. They were still in the mail when I made the gear video last year. Just like it sounds, they go over your shoe. I was really happy I had these south of Banff when it was chilly, raining, mud on the road. Throwing that mud around really allowed me to keep my feet warmer. In Sealy, I did leave these with my wife. You know, it's just another instance of switching your gear up as you go, because a lot of times most people are pretty tight on space, and if there's something you don't need anymore, then get rid of it. Oh yeah, so I got Victor here in Salida, Colorado last year. My wife just got me this guy, so I'm gonna have both these on the handlebars. A little friend for Victor. But yeah, I just wanted to mention to have a little fun with your bike too. Get a patch on your frame bag, or I got these new stickers this year on there. It's really fun to do. It makes you kind of stoked about your setup, customizing it a little bit like that. When I was making my final preparations for last year's trip, I did realize I needed just a little extra space if I could figure some out. And this is the Downtube Bag by Tailfin, and this fits very well right behind the salsa cradle. Just slips right in there. Strap it to the cradle itself, and it's a great little utilization of space. So if you have a salsa cradle, know that this little bag here will fit in right behind it. Navigation. The last 2 years I've used the Adventure Cycling Association's app, Bicycle Route Navigator, and I just have to say I can't recommend it enough. It just really allows your trip to go along smoother with how that app works, how easy it is to use, telling you where everything's at. I highly recommend Bicycle Route Navigator app for navigation. In Seeley Lake, Montana, last year I switched out my raincoat to a lighter raincoat and also left my micro puff with my wife. I regretted those decisions down the road. The micro puff is very much needed on the early mornings if you're trying to ride before it's light out. It can be very cold, especially if you're high up elevation wise. And I got into a pretty damn good storm there in New Mexico. Certainly wish I would have had my stronger, better raincoat there. The storm came in really fast. I didn't have any time to layer up or anything. All I could do was throw on my raincoat, and I think I'll always go with those two items from now on. The best raincoat I have and my micro puff. There was several spots where I replaced the protective tape. There was spots where it was worn or where little dirt got in there. So I cut off those bad pieces and replaced it with new stuff. But yeah, still getting the bike squared away this year. Don't have it completely ready yet. I got a new frame bag on here, a replacement for the Rogue Panda frame bag I had last year. That one ripped up high up here. Really hard spot to sew, but stoked to have a new one. New zippers, little stretch space here. So as far as things that broke on the trip, the main thing was the rear carbon rack made by Tailfin. Not any fault on their part. I had the bike propped up like this. Big gust of wind came, tips it over. It actually went off the side of the road. Must have hit a rock right here, breaks the rack. I'm surprised and thankful for how well it held up for me to get down into Stryder, Colorado. There I was able to come up with a pretty good splint, and that actually worked for the rest of the trip. But Tailfin, they did warranty that piece. I'm gonna keep going back to Tailfin, keep using their products, love their products. The main other thing I broke was the Sony camera, the LCD swivel screen on that. I set the camera up on a tripod and grabbed the bike, turning the bike around. I hit the tripod with the bike tire, tipped over the whole thing, and snapped that. That was a $1,000 mistake, unfortunate. Wrapping up, just wanted to say thanks for watching. I'm getting excited to do some bike packing trips here soon. I'm just going to be doing several smaller trips this year, not doing the big Great Divide route this year, but really looking forward to it. And yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you're having a good spring.